Lotus for quite a long time. We're involved with Lotus a long time, and we've seen many changes at the factory. But I don't think in the time that I was there, 30 odd years, I've ever seen such drastic changes within the factory building itself, the infrastructure. For years and years, it did need upgrading, but with the takeover of Geely, they really have pumped a lot of money into it. What's your impression now of Lotus, and what do you think the future of Lotus is now?
Well, see, the biggest thing, I haven't been involved across the road there since 2014, and it's only since I've been going over there when we've shaken down some cars that I've seen all the improvements. I've seen them on Facebook and stuff, but I haven't seen inside the factory. But Matt Wendell has contacted me and said, why don't you organise some of the lads from Classic to go and look round? So it's going to be interesting. See, when I went back in 2000, I was fairly impressed with quality.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit strange because I think probably quality wasn't 100%, but I'm thinking about when I worked there in the 60s, like shut lines, for example. Yeah. Shut lines were all over the place. Yeah. But on the S1s, to me, they weren't that bad. But I think the biggest change for me was when Danny came in. Yeah. And people are always slating Danny that he wasted money and spent a fortune, which he did, but it really raised the level of Lotus.
Without a doubt.
And quality. Yeah. Quality was raised as well. Yeah. And I did a lot of work for Danny with his people coming over. And, I'm still convinced that his plan was to spend as much money. And so the bank balance sheets, when Proton looked on it, was so much in the red that we need to shoot this out, get rid of this. And then Danny would have come in with his investors and bought the company. Yeah. That's my own personal opinion. But for me, they were good times because I was doing a lot of work. I was doing all his VIPs. We were press cars were going out to everybody, and I was getting. I was
there during the Danny Bahar. I mean, the next feature I want to do is on the Danny Bahar era cars and a bit about my experience with Danny Bahar. But everyone at the factory, they couldn't believe that we could build 5 new cars. And I don't think in hindsight Danny Bahar did either. No. But it was just putting Lotus out there. He wanted to elevate Lotus to a higher plane. He wanted to make Lotus like the McLaren. Yeah. And if you look at it now, with the investments that Geely's making, it seems to me now that Lotus want to go beyond that and make it even better than McLaren and have a more diverse range and really push engineering out.
I just hope and pray that it does move forward, because it went through a bad time when Danny went, and the new bloke, he closed down Lotus Service, he closed down driver training, he closed down Lotus Motorsport, he closed down press cars. Yeah. Oh yeah. Lotus Engineering went.
It was bloody well axed. A lot of it. I mean, I think everyone was thinking, "Is this the end of Lotus?" But
and you think, bloody hell, and that was diabolical what happened there. But then Geely saw the sense and got rid of him. Yeah. However they want. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. Don't get sued. So I mean, the future looks good. I mean, but the way Lotus is going, the Emira is going to be the last internal combustion engine car from the factory. It's all being electrified. The sports electric cars, if you want to call them, should be built at Hethel or developed at Hethel. The lifestyle vehicles that they're going to be building, SUV, the 4-door, they'll all be built in China. So I just wonder what the future is for Hethel. I don't know how long they'll be manufacturing at Hethel.
I think people who buy Lotuses want them to be manufactured because it is the spiritual home. We've been there since 1966. Yes. Yeah. And despite what Clarkson says about us all being carrot crunchers, in fact, I think we are.
Don't take much notice.
But I don't know. I think I just hope that production stays there.
Yeah.
And Matt Wendell seems to have. Well, he's an engineer.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. An engineer. You know, when the old man was running it, he was an engineer. Matt Wendell's an engineer running the company. Yeah. That's got to be a good thing. When you got somebody who's financial, it's not such a good thing.
No.
See, the Malaysians had no idea what they had. They had no idea what Lotus was all about. But I just wish them all the best.
I think the Chinese are quite, they're quite savvy. I think they know the market. I mean, it's popular amongst motor manufacturers to shift manufacturing to the cheapest area. Like Lotus are going to have a factory in Wuhan, they'll be building the lifestyle vehicles. They're still going to build sports cars here at Hethel. Because even the Germans, when BMW bought Rolls-Royce, they could have shipped the whole of Rolls-Royce to Germany. It would have been more efficient, it would have been more cost-effective. But even the Germans said, if you buy a Rolls-Royce, you expect it to be made in England. I think the Chinese know that. If someone's going to buy a Lotus sports car,
they've got commitment here. They've got 2 new factories in Norwich.
Yeah.
They've got the training centre and structures.
And in the Midlands, you've got the engineering centre. So I think the future's good for Lotus. It will change from what we knew Lotus as, but everything has to move on. Well, as long as they don't lose.
What is the heritage?
The heritage. The characteristics
what this is all about. No, this is. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
So that's it. So for the future, what's in line for Richard Parramint? Will you be doing factory tours again, do you think?
Over there?
Yeah.
No. I enjoy doing the factory tours, the works tours here, because it's just, I'm so lucky that Clive trusts me to come in here whenever I want and take people around.
And do things like this.
Yeah,
I'm
just, you go on the TripAdvisor thing, and people say that this bloke is so passionate. He's so passionate about the drivers, the Chapmans, the Mark, and it shows through. And I'm pleased that happens, because, like my family says, you don't have anything else apart from Lotus, and that really sounds sad.
No, it's not, because it's...
I've got my family, I've got my son, my daughter, my wife, but, coming up to winter time, on a wet Sunday afternoon, I'll get all my photographs. I must have 20-odd photograph albums of Lotus pictures. I've got all my memorabilia that I'll sort through. How lucky am I?
Well, that's it. You say that it's passion. It is passion. It's funny because there's so many people that are passionate about Lotus. I mean, you've obviously got the passion. I've got the passion. Even though I got made redundant last year, I still couldn't.
That's ridiculous.
I still can't stop, because I started this channel because I still want to talk about Lotus, because it's in there.
Well, see, we're the same. When I was chucked off site back there in 2014, I cried. I cried when I left.
I can believe it.
And that was hurtful. But I've been involved since '63. You can't walk away from that.
No.
So I'm very lucky that the Chapmans trust me to do what I do. And Mrs. Chapman now 90, she's 93 or 94. And we're coming to an end now. Just a story.
Close. Carry on, mate.
Just a story. When I go back, when I first started over at the factory, if you saw Colin Chapman, it was like seeing Jesus.
I know,
it's all and the same with Mrs. Chapman. So they were always held in high regard. Probably about 15 years ago, Clive said to me, "Can you do me a favour? Can you go down to Stansted and pick my mum up? She's just come back from Ibiza." I said, "Yeah, I can go down and pick her up." And I drove down, picked her up, and we were driving back. So there I am driving, and I've got Colin Chapman's wife.
Yeah, I know.
And we're driving into Thetford, and I said to Mrs. Chapman, have you got supplies? You got bread and stuff? Oh no, she said, let's pop in and get some. So there I am, walking around Sainsbury's, I think it was some Tesco's, with a shopping trolley, with Mrs. Chapman putting stuff. And if anybody said to me 50 years ago when I was on the factory floor, in 50 years' time, you're going to be going shopping, you'd have said this. And another quick story. Mrs. Chapman, she's really nice, but she's a strong-willed woman. Yeah. Clive again asked me, he said, can you come round East Carlton Manor, pick up my mum, pick up Mrs. Rudd, and take them to Damon Hill's house for Betty Hill's 80th birthday. So this was down in Surrey, right? So have you ever been to East Carlton Manor? Yeah. So you've got the two main entrances and a tradesman's entrance, right? So I pull into the driveway, get out of my car, jump in Clive's Jag, and Mrs. Chapman and Mrs. Rudd are in the back, and I start to drive off. And Mrs. Chapman says to me, Richard, where do you think you're going? And I thought, oh, bloody hell. Well, we're going to Damon Hill's house for Mrs. Hill's. She said, I know that, but where are you going now? I said, well, she said, I've lived in this house for 30 or 40 years. I have never driven over the tradesman's entrance, and I don't want to today, which I thought was quite nice. Yeah. And then driving down this, just sitting there hearing the stories, was just a dream come true. Yeah. But she did complain to Clive that I went round the roundabouts too quick.
She should have been used to that. She should have been used to that. Well, Rich, timer ticks on. This is time to wrap up this little chat, mate. I'd like to say thank you to Clive Chapman for entrusting you to enable me to come down and film here. That's, a big thank you to Clive and everyone at Classic Team Lotus. I know they're a good bunch of guys and work really hard. But mainly, mate, thank you to you.
Okay.
We could have sat here for bloody hours. I'm sure we could have done.
And we didn't ourselves laugh. We kept it serious.
We tried to keep it as serious as we can.
And I only swore once.
Next time we do it, if we introduce some alcohol, it'll be even more long and funny. So that's it from me to you, mate. Say thanks again.
Good.
Always good to talk to you.
And also, what you're doing with this Lotus Guru thing, I think is a great idea.
Thanks, mate.
And as I said, you should do an article that we should get published in Remark. Because I just think the service you offer, I think they've slipped up big time over the road, letting you go. Yeah. Big time.
Yeah, so do I, but there we are.
But
things happen, life goes on. It's given me an opportunity to do something like this, something I wouldn't have done anyway.
It wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have done this.
No,
I wonder if we should finish up with a bit of a song.
Probably not a good idea.
No?
No, you haven't heard me sing. You don't want to hear me sing, honestly. So, to all you viewers out there that watch my channel, thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care, enjoy your life, enjoy Lotus.
I agree.
And so long from me and Richard.
See ya.
Thanks for watching.
Best of luck.
Cheers.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.